to order. Looks like we have a quorum here, so we can get started. I'd like to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to see if there are any public comments. Anyone from the public available to speak?
We don't have anyone.
Okay, let's move on to the agenda. At this point, I'd like to make a motion to approve the first item on the agenda for the special meeting minutes of May 25th. Do I have a motion?
Daisy, actually, we need to do roll call first.
Okay.
And then the consent calendar, we approve them all as a group.
Okay, let me back it up.
Okay.
Roll call here. We have Alegre.
I will do that because I need to mark them. Thank you.
Pass it off to you then.
Thank you. Ignacio Alegre.
Here.
Brent Bisley.
Here.
David Elliott. Jack Healy.
Here.
Margie Nitter.
Here.
Patrick Cortez.
Here.
Maria Rosa Lopez.
Here.
Enrique Perez.
Here.
Robert Ruiz. Robert Tucker.
Here.
Recording in progress.
Johanna Rivera. Is Johanna here?
She was a minute ago. We may have lost her.
Okay. Daisy Campos.
Here.
Pierre Loubet.
Here.
Dennis Barnum.
Present.
Gail Araujo. Okay. And Maria sorry. Hold on. This thing is not working. Magdalena Fernandez.
Here.
Thank you. And we have quorum. And now we can continue.
Great. At this point, I'd like to ask for approval of the special minute meetings for May 25th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank
Second
you.
by Maria Rosa Lopez. Thank you. Approved. Second item on the agenda, excused absences. Any board members? I have them.
We have one excuse absence, and that's David Elliott.
Great. Do you have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Item number 3, EDD labor market information. Recommended action is to receive and file. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. That's the end of the consent calendar. At this point, we can move on to the business calendar. A recommended release of requests for proposals for procurement of youth services for the program years 2024 through 2027. The recommended action of the Workforce Development Board is to release the request for proposals to procure youth service providers for program years, again, 2024 through 2027. Do I have a motion?
I move.
I heard Brent, who was the second?
Second. Bob.
Thank you, Bob. That's the end of the business calendar. We can move on to the work study session.
If we could, Daisy, we need a vote on that one.
Okay.
As a business calendar, so we need everyone to vote yay or nay.
Do we have all those in favor say yay?
Yay.
Anyone opposed, nay?
If I could make a brief comment about it, just want to thank everybody involved with the committee and staff, Sandy and everyone in helping pull that together. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, we can move on to the work study session with Regional Workforce Coordinator Annette. I will pass it over to her.
Share my screen and just give you guys some regional updates. I'll just introduce myself just to make sure everybody knows who I am. I am Annette Kelly Whittle. I am the regional organizer for the Orange Regional Planning Unit. And so I serve all 3 workforce development board directors. Um, during our last session on August the 21st, all 3 workforce development boards met together, which is something that has not been done probably in forever. Since I've been here, it's not been done. So it was a good meeting. David Schinder was the facilitator of that meeting, and we did some kind of started with our strategic kind of planning. During that meeting, he talked about the 4 regional indicators that the state is asking each regional planning unit to identify what we want to focus on. And so the 4 regional indicators are: the region has a process to communicate industry workforce needs to supply side partners. The region has policies supporting equity and strives to improve job quality. The region has shared target populations of emphasis, and the region deploys shared pooled resources to provide services, training, education to meet the target population needs. During that meeting, the 3 workforce development board members that were in attendance selected indicator A, which is the region has the process to communicate to industry needs to supply side partners. And there's 2 outcomes that are a part of that, that as a board that we will be looking to track. Yesterday, I met with all 3 workforce board staff members to kind of identify what metrics we were going to be using. So outcome one is region has developed a benchmark and measurements to track improvement of the number of individuals placed in jobs that align with industry sectors and occupations emphasized in the regional plan. And our regional plan emphasizes manufacturing, healthcare, hospitality and tourism, and information technology. So those are the 4 regions that we will be focusing on. And then outcome 2 is region has developed benchmarks and methods to track workforce partner professional development training on priority sectors and industry needs. So some of those possible process measures that we could track basically include percentage of individuals served who will attain employment related to training, the distribution of job placements that align with the top sectors and occupations emphasized in the region, and the identification of top sectors and occupations that provide quality jobs, which we've done a lot of that work and it's a part of our regional plan, but we'll be kind of revisiting that coming up also. Percentage of frontline staff participating in training that addresses the needs of target sectors and jobs identified. So we've kind of identified some strategies that we're going to move forward on that as far as making sure staff is trained in regards to that. And then percentage of professional development participants, including real required partners who report training supported their understanding of employer needs and priority sectors and jobs. So our process now, our kind of next steps is really to try to identify how we are going to track these measures, which we had that discussion yesterday. So we're pulling reports and trying to see what is already available that we are entering within our CalJobs system so that we're not having to develop a separate tracking mechanism and make it cumbersome on staff to track something outside of that. In addition to that is we need to do some benchmarking. So we're going to go back a year and look at where we are as far as the percentage of individuals served and job placements in the sectors and so forth, so that we can have a starting point and then start measuring from this point forward after that. So thank you for those who attended. We didn't get through everything within that session. So David Schinder is going to be sending out some kind of polling information to kind of get through some of the mission and value statements that he wanted to create for our strategic planning session. Plus, some of it may come into our regional planning, which I'll talk about coming up here too. So some of the other regional initiatives that are going on. So we have the Workforce Development Board training that's coming up on October the 6th from 9 to 11. It's going to be a virtual training. All 3 workforce development boards can attend. David Schinder is also facilitating this board training. If there's any new board members or existing board members that just want a refresher on some of what is required of a board member, and some of the things that the board is in charge of. David will go over all of that. So, and then we have the regional and local plan, 2-year plan modifications that's currently, we have a draft directive, but we need to start getting to work on it. It's due in March of next year. And so on September the 22nd from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., we're starting with regional planning. And we are asking the board members that are available to attend this, and so they can provide input on our 2-year plan modification. And then on the 23rd would be the local plans, but if board members can participate in that first day, that would be great. Or any part of that day. We know that's a long stretch of time for most people. So, and then on January 25th, we will have another regional planning board meeting, which is going to be from 9 to 12. This will again be all 3 workforce development boards that we bring together to continue some of that planning work that we started here. And then we had our industry sector launches, or relaunches, I should say. Some of you may recall prior to the pandemic, there was an initial launch that was done with the consultant, John Melville. And so that work really didn't continue through the pandemic as we intended. So we launched in June, and we did that in healthcare and manufacturing. We did not do information technology, which we originally planned. We are going to focus on healthcare and manufacturing, just really trying to build up those 2 industry sector convenings. We had a decent number of businesses. We do need to increase the number of businesses that are in attendance. We are working with our partner organizations such as the Community College District and Strong Workforce, and just really trying to communicate the importance of having strong regional convenings as opposed to having multiple convenings across the regions, across multiple organizations that are really trying to gain the same information. You know, I've attended many of these from other organizations, and they're typically lightly attended by business. There's more educators or workforce development individuals in the room. And we really need to switch that around. We really need to have more businesses at the table. And if we can combine our efforts to kind of have a strong, you know, meetings that we're not constantly making the ask of the same employers to attend multiple meetings, I think that we can get there. It's kind of been slow going, but we're hopeful that all of our partners can get on board and we can all, you know, gain value in stronger industry sector meetings. So any support from the board is helpful, you know, as far as your business contacts within these industries, or if you are a part of these industries, we will get out the next meeting dates so that you can make invites or attend. That would be great. Also, we are developing a regional website and collateral for the region. We're going to be working with copy and design to put together these the collateral and the regional website. The goal is really just to kind of strengthen our message to the community as a whole, as well as mainly the business community, right? Letting them know that workforce development is an available service, as well as communicating any industry sector events that are happening and work that is going on within these industry sector meetings. The goal is to kind of make it seamless for businesses to connect to workforce and economic development in a way that they're not confused by the different entities that are coming at them. And so again, another area for us to be in alignment, not only with the 3 workforce development boards, but our regional ecosystem partners also. Regional grants. So we applied for the Good Jobs grant. I think at one point I presented that to you guys. We did not get that grant. no one in Orange County got that grant, and there was one organization in the state of California that received it. So, and then we have the Regional Equity and Recovery Partnership Grant. So we did get awarded 1.3 million on this particular grant. This grant is the equivalent to what has been known as the Slingshot grant, which we were on Slingshot Regional RPI Regional Implementation Grant 4.0 is the last one. They then changed it to Regional Equity and Recovery Partnership Grant, and they made some changes to the grant. Under this grant, it still funds the regional organizer, which is my position. So each of the 15 local regional areas have a regional organizer. And so 45 boards fall into those regions. So it still funds that position. But in addition, what they did is they made it a partnership grant. So with the community college districts. So typically we apply for this grant on our own, but we had to do this in partnership with our community college colleges. And so 1.3 million really is around the piece that we were getting annually, but it's more system alignment and regional implementation work. Now there's an additional 10 million that the Chancellor's office has thrown into the bucket that will go towards the projects that we submitted as a part of this Regional Equity and Recovery Partnership Grant. We do not have word yet on which one of those across the state have been funded, but we did get word of the 1.3 million for the one piece of this grant. And then we have the California Equity and Recovery Grant, so the SURF grant that was submitted, and it was submitted in July 25th. We should hear something sometime this month as to whether or not we received this grant. Rancho Santiago served as the fiscal lead, and the County of Orange served as the convener lead on this. This is a partnership grant, so it includes very similar makeup to your local workforce development boards. You have labor, community organizations, education organizations that are all part of this. If you go to ocrise.com, you can see some of the past convenings as far as the webinars that are on there, as well as the submission of the proposal that was submitted to the state of California. So we're excited to hopefully get that one. There were 2 applications that went in for the Orange County region. So we have a 50% chance of getting it, of getting that grant. No matter what, one will come to the Orange County region. So regardless, this will be something that we'll be hearing about for a long time coming. So we have the planning grant, and then after the planning grant comes the implementation grant. So, and we have the prison to employment grant that was submitted on August the 1st, 2022. So hopefully the region will get that grant again, and we'll be able to serve that population with some additional funds for the local area. And that is all I have. So if anybody has any questions for me.
I just have a comment. I attended that as a labor representative, and I struggled to get the presenter to not be smug and dismissive about labor unions, even though we're 15% apart. So my hope is on the meeting in January that David's a little more inclusive.
Okay. I know Deborah did share some comments with me, and so we will definitely share that with David and make sure that
Appreciate it.
we do not want you to feel that way at all. Thank you for attending, though. We really appreciate it. Next meeting, would love to have more individuals in attendance.
I mean, specifically, I mentioned the role of unions, and he barked back, well, what does that matter? And I'm going, really? So hopefully it'll be different next time. Thank you.
Is next week's meeting location been determined in that?
It has not been determined, so we should know today. So we have the Iluna Union Hall we're waiting on today to find out whether or not we can use that. If not, we have Garden Grove, OC Work Solutions Garden Grove Center as the backup. So that is reserved, but I should be able to put that out today.
I'll send the meeting details on that hopefully late today or tomorrow as soon as we learn of it to all of you. Thank you, Annette.
Thanks.
Any further questions for Annette? I'm sorry, Daisy, I just took over. I'll step back.
No worries. Any further questions for Annette? Annette, thank you for that presentation. Any questions?
No.
Okay, the next order of business that we have here, that's the end of our work study session. The next order of business that we have are the committee reports from the Youth Council.
Yeah, I'd just like to once again comment that very much appreciative of the work, again, the staff and the committee members put in on that. There was some new emphasis on looking at artificial intelligence that's coming around in many ways. And also mental health and special needs. We had Jackie retired from Santa Ana Unified, who was a special needs teacher. So those elements have been added. So we're evolving and moving forward in a very positive manner. And again, thanks to staff and the committee members. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And anything else that we have to cover? Any other comments from the rest of the board members? Okay, no other further business to conduct before the meeting comes to close. At this point, go ahead.
If staff has a few comments, if we might be able to add.
And I've got a comment too after
Sure.
Everybody, I'd like to recognize the newest board member, Magdalena Fernandez. Magdalena is the head of human resources for Stouffer's Biscuits and has been recommended and nominated by Simon, who was a former member of our workforce board, but needed to step down. So welcome, Magdalena.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I look forward to learning and working with all of you.
Likewise, thank you.
Well,
And then on that note, segueing from there, the workforce board is in need of about 5 additional private sector members. So if you have a peer or a company that you work with a lot that is looking to get more engaged in the Santa Ana community, we're looking for Santa Ana business owners, ideally manufacturing, healthcare, tech, logistics type business, so that it kind of matches up our largest performing industry sectors or representatives of our industries in Santa Ana. If you could please share them, my name and phone number, or call me and we can discuss it. The law does say that each of you need to be a decision maker in your business. So usually we're looking at the CEOs, CFOs, the head of human resources, plant manager, the operations person that's able to talk about their business and where it's headed and some of the issues they might be facing, as well as looking ahead where they're taking their industry or seeing their business go in the next 5 or 10 years. So we have some seats open. I'm working with economic development. They're going to do a little newsletter and put a blurb in there about the recruitment. So please feel free to forward anything to me, and then I will work it through the nomination process. And then lease negotiations. I just wanted to let you know that our lease at the work center is coming due next June. Believe it or not, it is almost 5 years. That went by in a flash. Carlos and I have been working with a broker along with city management and partners. I'll be circling back with you when we have some more details to share, and then we'll start to amend the MOUs yet again. But we are trying to do a 10-year lease versus a 5-year lease. If we're not successful, we do have a 5-year option in our current lease, and we're prepared to exercise that option if we need to. We have looked at other properties in the Civic Center area, as well as in other parts of Santa Ana. The current building that we're at, I think, still is the better of the 4 buildings that we've looked at. And so we're pursuing that right now. Parking still is a problem, and we're trying to address that as well and get that fixed. And the last is if I could ask Sandy to talk about the California For All grant.
We're excited to launch. Finally, I know we had talked about it before in our youth council meeting, and potentially we had mentioned at this meeting a couple of meetings ago. But we are launching our California for All, which is a youth paid work experience program. In the past, I had mentioned the Stay Employment Program, which is still active and enrolling also. So we actually have two programs, but I wanted to specifically talk about the California for All. We did receive about 4.4 million to provide paid work experience to youth 16 to 30 years old. Youth are getting a little older, and so we want to make sure that we provide all the resources and opportunities for them also. The youth will be getting paid $17 an hour. We wanted to make sure we competed with the higher paying entry level employers that are out there. Our goal is to provide them with career pathways into government nonprofit agencies within the community. We are working with various city departments, different organizations that are located around the city, nonprofits that are available to provide paid work experience, internships, and also mentoring to the youth with the potential to get hired after the fact. Currently, with our Stay Employment Program, we have got a few hires, which we're excited about. We're hoping to present something later on. But with regards to the California for All, if you are interested and you are a nonprofit or government entity and would like to have any of our youth at your location, please connect with myself or with Deborah. I'm happy to work with you in providing you with an intern for this upcoming year. This particular grant sunsets in 2024, spring of 2024. So we're excited to be able to offer these opportunities to our youth here in Santa Ana. I think with COVID and recovery and everything that they've been through, this is definitely welcoming to the community, and we're excited to be able to launch it. Does anybody have any questions? Our applications are available online through the city website at the work center. They can either pick one up here, or we can email it to them, or we can email you the link. I think I'll have Deborah maybe email out some information and with application information.
So the California for All grant, the youth will work up to about 700 hours a year, or 700 hours, 29 hours a week at various work sites. So Sandy's in discussion with Parks and Recreation and their lifeguard program. They're bringing back a contract that was contracted out back in-house. We're also working with our library and Public Works Department to work with them on work sites so that these youth can start to learn skills and get prepared to apply for government jobs, whether it be with the city of Santa Ana, other cities, or the county of Orange or the state of California for that matter.
And our goal is about 200 youth. We are subcontracting out with Orange County Conservation Corps, so they are serving 80 youth, but in total, we're working with about 200 youth for our California for All and another 160 to 180 for a Stay Employment Program. So if you guys are interested, I'm still looking for work sites for both programs, and definitely we welcome all applications for youth that are interested in gaining this valuable work experience.
Thank you, Sandy. Carlos, any updates?
Thank you, Deborah. Good morning, everyone. I have 3 or 4 brief updates. As I've been reporting throughout, our meetings, the foot traffic at the work center, it remains lower than prior to COVID. It's pretty much stabilized between 700 to about 800 people a month. That compares to about 2,000 prior to COVID. So we pretty much resigned ourselves that that's probably where it's going to stay. The world has changed. More services are online. And with that said, we've directed our staff to go out into the community. I mean, since the folks aren't coming to us, we're going to go to them. We've been offering our services to nonprofits, most recently Delhi Center, offering that, we can hold our workshops on site, or maybe even, do recruitments on site. We recently coordinated with the Orange County Jail so that we can provide workshops to folks that are going to be released within the next 30 to 60 days. We're going to be there twice a month providing these workshops. We're also making ourselves more available to community events, attending them at every opportunity that we can. We think it's making a difference in terms of how many people are accessing services. We have noticed an increase in the applications that people are submitting to us for one-on-one services. For those of you that are new, we do provide one-on-one coaching for folks that are eligible for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act program, whether that be job search assistance or the provision of a scholarship so that they can go to training. Since I'm talking about the applications, there's an interesting trend that we've been noticing. Large majority recently, as of late, the last maybe 3 weeks, maybe even a month, many folks from the mortgage industry, title insurance industry have been applying. Folks, and you probably noticed that there's been layoffs of loan officers and title insurance folks, which very eerily reminds me of 2009. For the Great Recession that we had. That's the way it started, and hopefully it doesn't get as bad as that. But that's what we're kind of seeing. Secondly, well, my next thing is that we've been the Work Center has been working diligently for the last month to develop relationship with local apprenticeship programs. We want to make apprenticeship programs a larger part of our service mix, which, as many of you know, the apprenticeship programs are known as the other four-year degree, where folks can learn while they earn money, and they work their way to a valid certification in the industry. Here in Orange County, we're rich in apprenticeships in the construction trades, other types of apprenticeships, for example, that cover other industries like healthcare or IT or culinary are not that present in Orange County. So we're also developing relationships with those types of organizations that do provide registered apprenticeships to maybe offer those here in Orange County. Had a great discussion with staff, and as this develops, we'll be reporting to you to let you know what our progress is. But we're very excited. The types of wages that the local apprenticeships, specifically those in the trades, that are offered to apprentices are those that would offer our participants the opportunity to earn a livable wage. We looked at the construction trades, specifically carpentry and others, and the wages that are offered are fantastic. So as soon as we start launching our efforts to connect Santa Ana residents to these apprenticeships, we'll certainly let you know. And last but not least, I want to wish a happy birthday to the hardest working woman in show business, Sandy Barbara. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sandy.
Birthday, Sandy.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you.
That's it for me.
I did have some updates, if I may. Just a couple of things real quick here. I, along with Deborah, was able to attend the California Workforce Association's Meeting of the Minds, and I definitely have some information that I want to share with our chairwoman, and then of course share it with our board. It was a lot of information regarding workforce boards at this particular Meeting of the Mind. So I look forward to sharing that at our next meeting. The event was in Monterey, California. The other item update, the Employment Development Department, we are implementing at this time a new telework policy. So this came out last week. I think our human resources, so across the state for Workforce Service Branch, we will be implementing a new telework policy. Actually all of our staff will be getting laptops and docking stations. So these are some things that are going on now, and each particular division across the state, Workforce Service I'm speaking of, they're going to look at how their particular division will implement this particular outline of telework. Currently, we have our staff in each of the Workforce Development Board, AJCCs, coming into the office about 2 times a week and teleworking 3 times a week. I don't see very much changing from that. They may come into the office a little bit more, maybe 1 day more, depending on the business need and the center need. So that's going on. The governor's telework, emergency telework order for us ends on October the 1st. So that order will be over for EDD, as far as for EDD. We're looking forward to a somewhat of a hybrid hoteling environment. So pretty much what's going on now, but working with each particular site manager, workforce site manager, we'll be looking at how we're going to implement that across all our offices here in Orange County. And last, we do have, we meaning our Garden Grove facility, workforce development area. There is a new Title I provider who started at the end of last month, the end of August, I think, August 31st. And that is Career Teams. They are from Connecticut, I believe. And they're our new Title I provider. And we've started working with them, and they're pulling together all our partnerships in our Garden Grove facility. So that's our new MCS, or Management Career Solutions. They are no longer the Title I provider for the Garden Grove area. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis.
Hmm?
I said, thank you, Dennis. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me switch windows here. If there's no further business to come before the board meeting, I guess we can call for an adjournment. Any other business here? If not, I can call for a motion to adjourn at 8:40. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a
Second.
Second.
Thank you so much. That concludes our meeting for today. I imagine Deborah's going to send us information for our next meeting in 3 months.
In 2 months, and I'll also send information about next week's meeting and the calendar, some regional meetings on everyone's calendars.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.